Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how to get your picture of yourself off of the network and then how to cut your picture out. And I'll show you a couple different selection tools in Photoshop, different ways to do that. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to go to the Finder. You want to click down on this little face down here. And that usually brings forward like a different window for the desktop. Depends if you got a bunch of programs open. It might hide some of those, but we're in the Finder. What we want to do is we want to go up to the Go menu here and drag down to Network. Okay, and then from Network, you're going to get this giant list of all these different computers on the network. You can scroll up and down. You might see it might be something like this. You can change the views of how you're looking at that through here, but does not really matter. What you want to do is scroll down to the one that says CHS Mart. Okay, and this got that little gray icon. It's a little different than all the blue ones. CHS Mart. Open that up. And mine is got a safe password, so it's going to actually open up everything, but I'm going to disconnect and show you what you're going to see. You're going to see something that looks like this. And you want to click Connect As, type in your username and your password. Should be registered user, and then click Remember Password in Keychain. That way next time you don't have to do this step. Click Connect. Okay. From here you're going to go to Server HD2. Go over to Student Drop. Go into Brandt period 3. Go into Self-Portrait Pictures. Okay, and within this, you see all these pictures. You can switch this to cover flow, and here you can see all the pictures from the class. I'm scrolling with the little scroll wheel on the mouse. You can also click here, or you can just kind of click through these. And you want to go over to wherever you see your image. And we all took a couple images of ourselves, so we'll have a couple different options. Where is me? Okay. No? Okay, this is the fun part. Okay, so I got this picture of me looking kind of ridiculous, right? You can push spacebar to preview it too. And then you just push spacebar again to make it go away. And I'm going to click this, and I'm going to actually just drag it onto my desktop so it copies off of the network onto this computer, or at least onto our network account. Okay, from there, what I want to do is I want to go and I want to add Photoshop to my dock. Right now, Photoshop's open. I've got Photoshop in my dock. I'm going to quit it real quick. I'll take it out of the dock. So you will have, your dock will look a little bit different than this. It won't have Photoshop in it to begin with. What you want to do now is go back to the Finder, click on the little Finder face, and it should bring forward one of these windows. And in any Finder window on the left side here, you're going to see you got all these different options. You want to go to Applications, and then from Applications, scroll up or down depending on where you are. Scroll all the way to Adobe Photoshop, and you want to go into that folder. And then what you want to do is you want to take Photoshop and you want to put it into your dock. And it's really important when I drag it out here that I put it all the way in the dock. If you put it on the desktop, it's going to copy it. It's going to cause issues. You want to make sure that it actually stays down here. And there's a little divider over here. If I try to go to the right of that, it actually doesn't let me do it. It just flies away. I want to make sure I go to the left of that little like dotted line kind of thing. And if you put it right on top of one, it doesn't fit. You got to make sure it squeezes between them. Let go. Now Photoshop's going to be there forever. So you definitely want to do that. And from here, you can close that out. You want to take your picture from the desktop and drag it into Photoshop, just directly onto the icon there. And that's going to open it into Photoshop. Okay. Now from here, what you want to do is you want to use this thing called the Magic Wand tool. You get your toolbar over here, and if you click, yours is probably going to default to look like this. You're going to have the Magic Wand here. We went with the Quick Selection tool. Okay, so if you click and hold down on the Magic Wand, you can select the Quick Selection tool. And the way this works is it lets us select an area to cut out, and it sort of jumps up to the edges of things. You can see how it sort of sees like the difference here. It grabbed my hair, which I didn't want it to do. I'll show you how to fix that later. But you kind of drag around the edge and you see it jumped out and selected this whole area rather quickly. It's pretty efficient, right? Now, we'll go through and grab all that. Now you can see I grabbed the entire background, but I want to get these pieces here too. So I just let go, stopped clicking, right? And I'm going to click again in there. I'm going to click again in there. So it got out those little areas. It's pretty nice. Now what about this part with my hair? Or what if I had pushed and accidentally grabbed this part of my back or something as the selection? Well, what I can do is I can subtract away from that, okay? You got different options up here. Right here it's set to add. If I hold down option, you can see it actually switches from a little, like in the center of this cursor here, we'll put it on a bright spot. You can see it's switching from a plus to a minus. And if I hold down option, it actually pushes it the other way, so I can subtract the selection. So I fixed what I just did just to show you, and then if I didn't want it to grab my hair, hold down option still, drag through here, and it removes everything. Okay, so I can go backwards if I had made a mistake. Now at this point, what you can do is you can just push the delete key on your computer, and you can see it cut that out. Okay, now if you look at that, you can see there's parts of green here. It's kind of jagged edges. It's, you know, it's not terrible, but it's not great. So what we want to do, so I'm going to undo here. I'm going to step back. I want to click on the Refine Edge tool up here. There's a button that says Refine Edge. Okay. And actually here, let's cancel out. Actually, first what I'm going to do, I actually selected the background. And let me explain this. The reason why I selected the background is because it's all green, and the Quick Select tool knows where to jump and grab things rather easily. If I were to have tried to select myself immediately, you can see there's darker parts of myself, lighter parts of myself, different color ranges. And since we shot this on the green screen, it makes it pretty easy for this tool to grab a big area that comes up to an edge, right? But what I actually want is I want to select me, right? I don't really want my background that much, okay? So I want to actually reverse my selection. So doing that is easy. You just go up to the select menu here, drag down to inverse, and that's going to reverse. You can see now like these outlines here aren't there. It's actually just grabbed all the way around myself, okay? Now I can go and click on that Refine Edge tool. And from here, if preview's off, it won't show you anything, but you make sure you have preview on. Adjust your radius. You can see it took out some of that green area there by bringing up the radius, bring it up even higher. I can adjust the feathering. Feathering is just like the softness of the edge. You see that's a bit much. That makes it look like just like kind of funny, right? So I'm going to turn the feathering. I want a little bit of feathering. You turn your contrast up. That makes it really sharp if you want that. I don't want it quite that sharp. Put it somewhere in between there. Contract, if for some reason there was like a ton of green there, or you wanted to have a little bit of green, you can bring that up. That's expand. That contract brings it the other way. Of course, I'm losing my glasses at that point. So I don't actually really want to do that. But you just adjust that until this looks pretty nice. Again, kind of tinker with these a little bit. Maybe a little less contrast. Okay, so now I just click OK. And actually, before I do that, there's different preview modes too. If you wanted to see how it looks when it's cut out on a black background versus a white background, or if it's just the opposite, like the mask of it, you can see it again masked out, or just how it looks selected. But I'm going to see it on a white background. I'm going to click OK. Okay, so now it doesn't look like anything happened, but it actually has softened out the edge all the way around here by doing that Refine Edge. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to Edit, Copy, go over here to my Layers panel. Your Layers panel is probably going to be over here. If not, you can always go down to Window and drag down to Layers. Bring your Layers panel forward. And what I want to do, I'm just going to bring this over here for now. You can pull out that. I want to look at my layers, and I want to actually, I want to add another layer. This little thing here that looks like a sticky note down there, if I click on that, adds another layer. And I already did edit copy. And I'm going to go up here and go to edit paste. And it pasted, if you look at the icon here, a copy of me there, right? So now I'm going to turn off my background layer. These eyes here are for visibility of layers. So I'm going to go to the background. If I just click on that eye there, you can see I'm very sharply cut out, right? Okay, so now at this point, I'm going to do this project mainly focused on the face. I've got all this extra space, and I don't really want that. So what I want to do is I want to crop. So I'm going to show you how to use the crop tool. And the crop tool is actually right under the quick selection tool or the magic wand. And I'm going to click on that. And it lets you set up a little frame of how much space you want your new image to be. So I'm going to drag over that. And you can resize this and kind of move it around. And actually, I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to come out of that. Before I do that, what I want to do actually is I want to save. And you want to save pretty frequently. I want to file save as. I've got my format set to Photoshop. Okay. And I'm going to call this Brant Funny Face. And I've got a folder on my desktop called Digital Media. I'll put it in there. You want to be, my desktop looks crazy right now, but you want to keep your files relatively sorted, especially if they're important. And then I'm going to click New Folder. This is going to be Example Images. I'm going to put a bunch of stuff in there for you guys. Okay, so Brant Funny Face. And again, format set to Photoshop. Click Save.